SUV, SUV, SUV. I don't like it. I avoid. But customer like SUV. Company can't avoid. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are here in the Ramoji Film City and we are with the new Hyundai Venue. It's not exactly a new car, but it is an extensively updated model and gets a lot of new features and a lot of new technologies. So what is it to drive like, and what kind of changes does this car get, and what kind of difference does it offer in terms of value for money? That's exactly what we'll find out over the next few minutes. Step inside the cabin of the new Hyundai Venue and that's where you will find most of the changes. One quick look and you'll realize that the cabin has got a lot of changes compared to the older model. Now first of all, you have this new touchscreen, and this has been integrated really well in the dashboard, so it looks premium. It's an 8-inch color touchscreen and it supports Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and also it's connected. The Venue was the first connected vehicle in the country, and this one also is connected, comes with SIM-based connectivity and gets a lot of new features. So it has over 60 connected features, so there's a lot you can do using your smartphone or your smartwatch, and you can get a lot of data from the car right onto your smartphone, and you can also execute a lot of commands again from the smartphone. You also get the car to home connectivity, wherein you get Google connectivity, and you can actually just say or give out commands like switching on the AC, or checking the tire pressure, checking the fuel level. All of these things you can do sitting at home and doing it from Alexa. So again, very good on that front, and the screen also works well. You also get a new instrument cluster. It's a fully digital unit, looks good. It's a color screen and it changes color depending on the modes. This one also now gets new drive modes. So you can choose between eco, normal and sport. Of course, each of them does what their name suggests. In terms of features also, the Venue continues to be a very nice offering. It gets an electrically operated sunroof. It's got wireless charging. It also gets USB and Type-C charging points. It's got climate control, and it also gets a segment first power adjustable seat for the driver. So it's an electrically adjustable 4-way seat that you get, and with the touch of a button you can again just adjust your seating position and get a good one. So that's a nice premium feature, first of its kind in this segment. Overall, from the front perspective, I would say it continues to be a good cabin. It's now more feature packed, and of course the material quality, the build quality, the finishing, everything is pretty much spot on by segment standards, and as a result of that, your experience inside the new Venue is a lot better than the previous model. In terms of dimensions, the Venue hasn't changed, but that doesn't mean that there's no change inside in terms of space. In terms of legroom, what the engineers have done, they have scooped out the front seat. They've also changed the rear seat, the bench. The seat is new, and as a result of that, in terms of comfort and in terms of space, this one's a lot better than the older model. Now, because of the scooped out seats, I have more knee room. I also have better leg room now, and the new seat offers improved thigh support, and as a result of that, this one definitely feels a lot more comfortable than the previous model. And when you're going to be in this car for a long journey, this one is a lot more comfortable. The seat itself is quite comfortable. You can just get this nice cushion armrest, and the other good thing about this car is that I can also adjust the recline for the rear seat, so that adds a bit more comfort. You also get this built-in air purifier now, which you would get otherwise in cars from a segment above like the Creta. So this just adds a lot more to the overall comfort and the nice premium feel inside the cabin. The other big change in the new Venue is of course the way it looks, the exterior design. Now when you look at the silhouette of the vehicle, there is no major change there, but the front and the rear, that is where you'll see most of the changes. The grille is entirely new, and this new metallic finish on the grille looks really neat. In pictures it does look as if it's a bit overdone, but when you look at it in flesh, it looks good. And the headlamp cluster too has been revised. The entire lighting, it's far more sleeker. It gives the car much more sportier look. And the rear, well, that's where the biggest changes happen. And the tailgate panel is new. The bumpers both end, they're new. And the tail lamp, well, it runs across from one end to the other, and it kind of accentuates the width of the car, gives the car very nice road stance. And as a result of these and the very smart looking alloy wheels, well, put all of these together and what you get is a car that looks a lot more exciting. Earlier Venue, well, it was a neat and a sober car to look at, but it was not exciting. This one just rectifies that. This one is a little more sporty than the early model and more interesting to look at. Now coming to the driving performance of the new Venue, well, not much has changed. You still get the same powertrain option. You can choose between a 1.2 litre Kappa petrol engine, or you can go in for the 1 litre turbo petrol engine with 120 PS, or you can go in for a 1.5 litre diesel engine. Now the one that we are driving right now is the 1 litre turbo petrol. We are driving the DCT variant, but you can also opt for the IMT, and with the diesel you only have the option of a manual. There is no automatic with the diesel. Interestingly, a lot of you might think that might be sort of a limitation, but that's not. It's about a little over 30% of sales for the Venue in terms of the initial bookings. Well, that's coming from diesel, so there is a good pull for diesel, but Hyundai says its internal surveys show that customers in the segment going for diesel want a manual gearbox. Now coming to the figures, the performance, nothing has changed. In terms of weight also, there's not a big change in the car, and because there are no changes in these departments, the car just drives well. It is a refined car to drive. It's a predictable car in terms of handling. What has changed is the steering calibration has been updated. So while the steering used to feel a little light and vague earlier, that has improved. The steering feels a lot better now, and the NVH insulation too has been improved, as a result of which the cabin now feels a lot more quieter, and it adds to the overall premium feel of the cabin. So in terms of driving, well, it's a neutral car to drive. It's got good handling characteristics. The brakes do a good job, and high-speed manners are also good. So yes, I mean, if you are in the compact SUV segment and you want something which is kind of fun to drive, the Venue does offer you good options. You can go in for the IMT. The DCT again works well. So yeah, I mean, a lot of options that you get with the new Venue, and it continues to be a good car to drive. Alright, so that brings us to the last part of this video, and that's where we tell you the summary of this vehicle. And to summarize the overall new Venue, I think it's a positive step in every department, and the key departments that the Venue had to improve upon. So it's now much more comfortable, it's more connected, it looks smarter than earlier, and it is actually smarter in terms of operations too. And well, it is good to drive. It gets a lot of new features that some of them are segment first, so it does offer a very good proposition for people who want a nice looking compact SUV, but is loaded to the brim with features and is nice to drive at the same time. As far as the pricing goes, you can see the prices on your screen right now, and I think the Venue has been priced competitively. It offers good value for money. If you look across the variant range, The value for money is good, and the Venue was always an important car for Hyundai, sold well, and with all these new improvements, it's just gotten better, and I'm sure that the sales numbers too will reflect that in some time.